Massachusetts will be forever linked to the September 11th attacks. Those planes that crashed into the World Trade Center on that clear Tuesday morning 10 years ago took off only 1 mile from here, as they had been hijacked by those terrorists led by Mohammed Atta and the other 9 who had lived amongst us here in Greater Boston while they plotted this attack upon us. Those planes, which were hijacked here from Boston, had 147 people on them. They were our friends, they were our neighbors, they were our family and our loved ones. They worked at TJX, they worked at Genzyme. They were flight attendants and pilots who lived here. In all, Massachusetts lost 206 people of the 2,600 who were killed on that horrific day. As we mourn the loss of the victims and comfort their families, we are left with the question of what to do with our memories. How do we cope with all of the emotions and honor the sacrifices that were made by men and women on that awful day and in the difficult days that followed? I think we do so by coming together as a community, by coming together as a country, because there we begin to find the answers. We remind ourselves of our true nature as Americans, of our immense capacity as a nation for good. We start by remembering the countless acts of heroism and sacrifice on that day. We reflect on the incredible bravery and selflessness shown after the attacks and the resilience and the strength of the victims' families who have shouldered the heaviest of the burdens. We will always honor their heroism and determination. Right up to today, when we note that today 80 of our service people were injured in Afghanistan by an attack of the Taliban upon our forces. In the days and the weeks following the attacks, I think we all remember vividly the flags, the American flags, hanging from every house, on poles, off balconies, in windows. It was the clearest and most direct statement of all of our spirit and unity as a people. It was inspiring, and it struck me that in the days following September 11th, that it looked like the 4th of July, our Independence Day, a day when we recall sacrifice and honor the heroes of the past who founded and built our country into the brightest beacon of freedom and hope that has ever shined its light across this earth. I started to think about the flag story itself and Francis Scott Key's poem, our national anthem. He wrote it while we were under attack, and today we heard it again, sung by this beautiful choir and this wonderful orchestra, who reminded us that during the battle, the Star-Spangled Banner waved on. It gave proof that through the dark night, our country is resilient and it is strong. And we saw that same resilience almost 200 years later. The first responders, the doctors, the nurses, the cab drivers running towards those twin towers. 330 firemen died that day. 60 policemen died that day. They were running in as everyone else was running out. They confronted it. They cared for the injured. They comforted the victims. The United States will always be the home of the brave. We were then, we are now, and the broad stripes and bright stars gallantly streaming through the perilous fight. So on this day, we remember together. On this day, we all mourn together. On this day, We honor those who make our country great, and that which it is that makes us strong. It is our unity. It is our courage. It is our resilience. It is everything about us that they hated on that day. It is our tolerance of all religions, of all races, of all peoples, of all countries. Not one religion, not one people, but all peoples gathered together. That is why we all come here together. We honor the sacrifice that is made on an ongoing basis by all of those who fight and protect us. From every walk of life, from every religion, from every ethnicity on this earth, each separate strand is entwined with an unbreakable bond that is America, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. That is who we are, and that is why we all stand here today. In the months and the years that followed the attack, and as we gather today, hundreds of thousands of our brave men and women have been deployed around the world to keep us safe. And today we also honor their service, their sacrifice. A decade after 9/11, we mourn what happened on that day, but we also celebrate what did not happen on that day. We did not crumble. We did not shrink from our responsibility to rebuild and to restore our nation. Americans around the country mark the 9/11 anniversary, answering the call to service here at home, the police, the fire, the emergency responders, the troops that we have around this planet. That too is a legacy of 9/11. Let the September 11th attacks always be a reminder, not only of the fragility of life, but also of the force for good and for hope and for reconciliation that each of us can be in our own communities, serving others, and in so doing, strengthening our entire country today and for generations to come. President Kennedy said in his inaugural address, "In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom at its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it, and the glow from that fire can truly light the world." It was true when President Kennedy said it. It's true as we gather here today. We are the beacon of freedom and hope for the entire planet. Thank you all for being here to commemorate this day.